Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be a long-awaited video. I was seriously waiting my whole junior year to be able to actually sit down and say I got through it and I could make this video. This video is going to be things I wish I knew before my junior year of high school. This whole video is kind of a little survival guide to the worst year of high school. I'm sure if you're clicking on this video, you've heard all kinds of horror stories and just the general saying that junior year is the worst year of high school. And so since I do one of these videos every year, I've done one for middle school, I've done one for I think freshman year and also sophomore year. I do one of these every year after I finish the year, and I cannot believe that I'm done my junior year and that I can now give you guys this advice. This is going to be the realest advice you will ever find. I am a very down-to-earth and real person, and I'm actually here to let you in on a little secret. Junior year is not that bad if you have the proper advice on how to get through it and if you know how to balance your life appropriately. Yes, it is said to be the worst year of high school, and honestly, I haven't had my senior year yet, but so far I would, I guess, rank it as the worst and the most stressful. And I came up with 7 reasons kind of just why junior year is like this, just so you can understand your stress more and like why you're probably feeling this way. It's totally justified. 1, grades. They really matter this year. I don't know, it depends on every school, it depends on what you want to do in the future, etc. But typically colleges, universities look at your 11th grade, like junior year grades, and so grades really matter this year, so the pressure's on. 2, your SAT. This is probably the year that you take your SAT. Most people take it in their junior year of high school, so that is a whole other element of stress, or just standardized testing in general. 3, college preparation. College becomes a lot more real to you in junior year, and you have to start researching, doing tours, thinking about next year and applications and just things like that. 4, lots of extracurriculars. I feel like this is the year that all of your extracurriculars really shine through, like any work you've done in the past years in your extracurriculars to like make them what they are. Now you have to commit yourself to them or take on even more this year to build up your resume. 5, hard classes. Junior year I feel like is the year you take your hardest classes, because senior year, like I feel like, I don't know, you're more used to the grind, like you can take easier classes, I want to say, but junior year you really take on, I feel like, more APs and just more honors classes, like you're really jam-packing it all in there. 6, burnout. It will hit you and you will come to a point where you feel like I need to leave high school. I'm not even in my senior year and I have junioritis. It is definitely real. Burnout is a very real thing that most likely happens in your junior year. And 7, this doesn't apply to everyone, but drama. I feel like when you're a junior, you're around 16, 17 typically, and I feel like this is the year where if you're involved in like social circles or like even in terms of dating or crushes, like relationships, friend drama, I feel like this is kind of the year that lots happens. So junior year is kind of just a disaster from hell, but it doesn't have to be that way if you do have the proper advice and you're equipped with how to handle it. So as usual, all of my videos on like school advice for each year are usually divided into 3 sections. It's going to be the same for this video. I'm going to have my academic section, social section, and then miscellaneous section with advice for all of those sections in each one. So without any more talking, let's get into the junior year advice. Let's begin with academics, because I'm sure that's probably what you're most likely stressed out about. This doesn't apply to everyone, but usually for the social scene, I feel like that's more of an issue in terms of advice for like when you first come into high school or even sophomore year, but junior year, I feel like the pressure is on academically. So let's talk about that. I have my computer right here, by the way. If you ever see me like looking down, I wrote all of my advice on this note. My first piece of advice, and the reason I'm uploading this over summer so that you guys can get this advice soon. If you are taking the SAT during your junior year, start studying for your SAT early. This is to take off stress, not to add more stress. You don't want to jam pack all of your studying for the SAT into like the last month before you take it. I personally wish I had started studying for it more over the summer. My personal recommendation is Khan Academy. You can place in the date that you're taking your SAT, and then they will basically provide a timeline for like when you should be taking practice tests and customized practice for you. The sooner you start, the better, because then it's not huge amounts of things that you're studying and trying to practice on in 2 months. It's more spread out in little chunks over like a little while. I just think that I would recommend for everyone, if you are serious about the SAT, to start studying for it early. It's literally to take off stress. It's not to make you more stressed. It's so that you don't have as much stress and you feel more prepared for your SAT later down the road. Related to this, I say to take your SAT early for 2 reasons. And I don't mean like super early. Like some of my very overachieving friends, good for them honestly, but I never could. They took their SAT over summer and even in August and like October of junior year. I took mine in December, but I feel like August might be a little early, but I would say take your SAT like even before your school might offer it, or like even before the spring of your junior year. This is 1, so that you have the chance to redo it if you aren't satisfied with your score the first time around. Then you're not so worried about taking it even closer to your senior year. And 2, you get it out of the way. I am so glad that I took my SAT first semester because I just got it out of the way and I didn't have to worry about it second semester during AP AP season, but seriously, you guys will be fine. Like, I feel like I stressed out for the SAT so much for no reason. It's really about just learning how to take the SAT. It's not really about your knowledge as a person. Fun fact, I found out that I got cheated on the night before I took my SAT and proceeded to cry all night and get 4 hours of sleep before it. Woke up, took it. 2 weeks later, I found out that I got a 1500. So that should be a little inspiration. Do not let anything get in the way of you shining and becoming your best student this junior year. So I'm taking the SAT tomorrow. It's currently December 1st. There's a lot going on personally. Yeah, this has definitely been an experience. I basically just found out I've been cheated on and I'm breaking up tomorrow with the guy I'm with, like after the whole SAT and everything. It's been a crazy week, but we're powering through because we're taking the SAT tomorrow. Third piece of advice for the academic section, lobby for leadership positions. I feel like if you don't have one yet, it's really good to have some leadership positions in high school in any way, and this might be the point in high school at which, you know, you've been in a certain club or on a certain team for sports for a while. Maybe you feel like it's time for you to step up. This could be a great year for you to become president or vice president or captain or co-captain of some club or team. Just try for that. It's really good to have written down like on your resume. Next tip is to start touring colleges. I know it's stressful, but trust me, it actually seems a lot more stressful, but it's actually really fun. You get to go places that you might be living for the next 2 or 4 years or whatever and just kind of explore, but you're not like committed to it, just to kind of get an idea of what a college campus is like. You don't have to go crazy with it, but even just plan like a little weekend trip to go see a college that you might be interested in with your family. Go with a friend who's interested in that same college. Doing that, I feel like it just really helps open you up to the whole idea of college, which is important during junior year. Related to this, start researching colleges. Again, no stress here. Just research colleges to see, for example, if you're interested in writing, look up some colleges that have good writing programs. Pick a few colleges, see if they have the majors you want, see if it seems like the kind of campus life you'd want. I'm sure that you probably maybe already have a few colleges in mind, but maybe just expand it, research them, just kind of to get more of an idea, I feel like, of where you'll be applying next year. It's not to add stress, it's just to kind of explore, just be curious about it. Another really important one, build strong relationships with your teachers and with your counselor. This isn't just for like your own advantage, like, oh, so I can ask for a letter of rec, like, yeah, obviously, but it's also just really important to have strong connections in high school, especially since this is your second to last year there. You never know who you're gonna run into later down the road. You never know when you're gonna need something later down the road. So for teachers whose classes you like and who you think you can get along with, build strong relationships with them, and also same with your school counselor. Go and have meetings with them, update them whenever certain things are going on with a program or a club or anything. A little goes a long way. And this leads me into asking for letters of recommendation, because it is a huge part of asking for letters of recommendation. But my tip is to ask for letters of recommendation before AP exams and before final exams. Typically APs and finals take place around May, June, so I would start even asking end of April or like early May, because you want to get to them before tons of kids get to them, like to your teachers and your counselor, and it's really good to show that you're being proactive about it. So just go up and say something along the lines of, hey, I'm trying to be proactive about college and what I'm gonna have to do for like my college applications work over summer. I was wondering if you would be interested in writing me a letter of recommendation. No pressure though. Something along those lines. Be very polite with it. Just go up after class or when you have a moment alone with them, and they will see that you're really taking it seriously, and they will really appreciate that. Next huge tip, it honestly helped me so much for AP season. Make an AP exam study schedule and stick to it as much as you can. I will show a little picture of mine here, but I took 3 APs during my junior year, and I also got straight A's during my junior year, which is why I think that my advice is helpful. But I basically, end of April, I was freaking out with my best friend. We were like, oh my gosh, okay, we have to make schedules to study for these APs that we're in. So I just made a whole color-coded schedule of exactly what I was going to do every day. I tried my best to not fall behind on it. I'd put a check mark when I was done with it, and it helped so much, because I feel like a lot of the stress about APs is that you don't know how to study for them, or you don't know like what to do for them and when. So if you just make a schedule, I don't know, around March or April, when you have to start like locking in and studying for those APs, it really helps to be able to stick to a schedule. Another huge tip for academics, do not fall behind on reading. I feel like lots of juniors take APUSH or AP language, like for English, or I don't know, just like science classes that have a lot of reading. So do not fall behind on the reading. The thing is that you don't want it to all pile up. So even if you're so exhausted, like obviously don't burn out, and I'll get to this, but if you have like 5 pages to read one night, wouldn't you rather just get that done so then the next night you don't have 10 pages of reading? It's really helpful to just stay on top of the reading. Do not fall behind. Next tip is to learn which resources on the internet help you the most. Personally, I love SparkNotes for just quick summaries and quizzes on anything we're reading. For English, I found so many helpful like YouTube review videos for AP Bio, because I was in that this year, and Heimler's History, of course, for APUSH. There's so many amazing resources out there on the internet designed to help students in certain classes, and especially during junior year when you feel like you have no time, utilize these resources because they are there there to help you. Also, this is the year to start thinking about like your future professional goals. So just kind of start thinking like when you're in your AP Science class, is this like an area that kind of interests me? Or when you're in English, like do I like reading books? I mean, it's important, and I'll get to this, to still like be a kid, of course. You are still a kid when you're 16, 17, but just kind of start thinking about what you might like to do. And even if you already have an idea about it, have an open mind. This leads me to my next thing, which is to make a resume, as you might start applying for like a part-time job during your junior year, or just for college in general. And when you want to like organize all of your activities that you're doing, make a resume. It's so important and it's so easy. Just basically list skills you're good at, any outstanding awards or achievements, and your extracurriculars and your contact information. Just organize it into a document. Next tip is to study in the most efficient way for you, because you probably know this already. In my past like high school advice videos, I've said try to find the way that helps you the most, but I'm assuming by 11th grade you already kind of know what helps you the most. If it's lying on your bed, probably not that, because you'll probably fall asleep, or sitting at your desk, or going to the library. Whatever helps you the most, do that. Next tip is to use your weekends wisely. I know it sucks. I hate the system that school is, but a lot of the time the weekend is the only time to catch up on the insane amount of academic work that you have. So just balance it. Some weekends you're gonna have to go out and have fun with your friends. I'm ordering you to do that because it's very important to not burn out. But some weekends, you know, it's important to prioritize getting on top of the reading, finishing notes, studying for a test. Use certain weekends wisely, but don't make all of your weekends about studying. This leads me to my next tip. Do not, I repeat, do not burn out. I know you might be thinking, well, how am I gonna control that? It's easy. You don't make your entire life saturated with schoolwork. It is so important to not burn out, because when you hit your second semester of junior year, you're going to feel that burnout, and AP exam season will be approaching. You're gonna have to start working on college apps soon. You wanna have a fun senior year. You do not want to burn out before all of this. You are still just a kid, so please, this is why I put it in the academic section. You have to learn what is more important. The classes that you think you actually are going to be able to do well in, focus on those, do your best, and try to study the things that don't make sense to you. But at the end of the day, all you can do is your best, and if constantly attempting to do your best is worsening your mental health more, you're not going to be able to perform well as a student if your mental health is in the toilet. So please try to not burn out. It is so much more important than anything you could do academically. And this leads me to my last tip of the academic section, which is force yourself to make time for yourself. I wrote this as force yourself because I literally had to, at a certain point, especially second semester of junior year, force myself to take time for myself, because you cannot just sit at your desk, study, and take notes and read all day. It's simply not good for you as a human being, and it also weirdly does not help you as much with school as you think it would. Going out and making time for yourself, and making time especially for your health, is even more important and will actually improve your brain and like your mental state for being a student and for doing better academically. So exercise, journal, have fun with your friends and family. Take time at night to shower and do your self-care routine and get sleep. Eat something good, treat yourself to something after a hard exam, go bake, go cook if you like to do that. Built-in self-care time is so important during junior year. I cannot stress it enough. It is truly my biggest piece of advice for what saved me and made junior year not so bad, as I said at the beginning of this video. It's so important to not just study. This built-in self-care time is what is going to help you survive this worst year of high school. And now we are on to the social section of my junior year advice for you guys. So socially this year, I'm just going to recap a little of what I went through. Obviously, everyone's going to go through different things socially every year of high school, but essentially over the summer before my junior year, I had just gotten back together with this guy who I was with in like the last half of my sophomore year. And so I was still kind of in this, not really on and off, but just kind of toxic relationship with him for most of my first semester of junior year. Then end of November, I found out through an amazing circle of friends in my journalism class that I got super close with this year that he cheated on me, and it was a huge drama that erupted in December. Went through a lot emotionally, but it ended up with a happy ending because I became very close with so many amazing girls in my journalism class and just had so much fun socially in my second semester of junior year, even though I was suffering through a lot of heartbreak. So junior year, things might really heat up emotionally depending on your friends if you're in any sort of relationship. But my first piece of advice is to build good relationships with seniors. This isn't just to have good friends, but they can be such an invaluable source of information for helping you with college applications, for helping you with extracurriculars, and like telling you what you should be doing junior year. Of course, it's gonna be bittersweet to say goodbye to them. When I went to the graduation for the seniors, I like cried when I got home. It is very bittersweet to have close relationships with seniors and then to watch them leave, but it's actually really important to become friends with them because these are connections that you'll have even when they leave to go to college. But this leads me to my next tip, which is dating seniors or becoming friends with seniors will be so hard when graduation comes, and I just wanted to kind of like warn you about this. Obviously, now that it's summer, it's kind of past, and like a lot of the seniors are still like home before they leave for college in the fall, but it's very very emotional when graduation rolls around, so I just wanted to insert that as a little piece of advice that if you are friends with more upperclassmen, it's just emotional to watch them leave. Next huge piece of advice, and I'll still stand by this, drinking or doing drugs is still not a great idea. I do not care how old you are or that you're in your junior year of high school now. I did not do any of that this year, and I'm very happy with myself. Just don't give in to peer pressure about it. You're so much better off not. I promise you, you're not missing anything by not engaging in these activities, and it's just really surprising how many people like at my school and just how many people you hear of as teenagers and in this year like as juniors drinking, doing drugs, things like that. Obviously it's your life, your body, your choice. You're going to do what you want, but I'm just saying that you have to be safe and be careful with what you're putting in your body and do not give in to peer pressure. You do what you want to do. This leads me to have fun at parties, go to parties, but be safe. I went to a few parties my junior year of high school. I never really went to many parties like sophomore year, but I just kind of wanted to see what it was all about. At least for me, it's a bunch of people drinking, but I'm lucky to be friends with a group of people who do not do that. So we just kind of had fun. So just have fun at parties and dance and have fun, but just be safe because it's so important to like be mindful of what's going on around you and how you can avoid getting into dangerous situations. Next piece of advice is to prioritize important relationships, especially with college approaching. You really want to deepen relationships this year. I feel like these important relationships, it could be with your mom or your best friend or new friends that you make or even your siblings. Like it's just important as you get older to keep prioritizing these relationships. And if it's between studying for a vocab quiz the next day or going for a nice dinner with your family or your friends, go for the dinner with your family or your friends. You will remember your relationships with these people so much more than what a silly word for AP Lang means. Next piece of advice that really helped me this year, try to go to any social event that you can to get out of the house and away from your desk. I remember distinctly this one night in March, my high school was having a talent show and I had so much to study for. I had to do something for an extracurricular, but all my friends were going and I thought, you know what, screw it, and I just didn't really study for the quiz the next day. I still ended up doing fine by not putting all that pressure on myself, and I went out and had fun and had such a memorable night. It's all about balance. Go out for social events, get away from your desk, do not just sit there and study. It's so bad for you. Next huge thing that I learned this year, and honestly just for life in general, friends are so much more important than boyfriends or just romantic relationships in general. It's very exciting, and I feel like junior year you might be getting into your first relationship or you might be in a relationship just because you're older now, but I really just wanted to tell you that friends are so much more important because I've said this in my other videos, but guys in high school, teenage guys, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of the time, not great choices. These are not going to be our future husbands. So it's so important to prioritize healthy friendships over that because at the end of the day, boys come and go, but your friends are really going to be the ones who stick around. I really learned that this year, that prioritizing guys, especially toxic guys, it's just dumb. Not dumb as in like you're embarrassing or pathetic for it. I've been there. It's just dumb because it's so much more important. It's so much better for you to prioritize friendships. Next piece of advice is don't let drama take you off track. I feel like it is so easy to get caught up in drama. As I said, I was in some pretty bad and emotional drama during a week in December, and I generally felt panicky because it was like, how am I going to keep up with all of my schoolwork and all my extracurriculars? I still did it. I really pushed myself and think I burnt out a little bit because of that, but just try to not let the drama take you off track because chances are any drama in high school, like especially junior year, it always settles down within like 2 days. Like I feel like things flare up so quickly in high school and then it's like it never happened. So just don't let it completely take you off track. Next piece of advice, listen to your gut when it comes to friendships and relationships. I wish I had listened to my gut more in the relationship that I was in because I literally knew, or at least was suspicious, that he was cheating on me. At the beginning of first semester of junior year, I let him talk me out of it and then it just exploded a few months later. Always go with your gut. Your gut knows so much more than you give it credit for. Same for friends. If you feel like a friend is being rude to you, wasting your time, being catty or petty for no reason, who has the time for that? Especially in your junior year when you don't have time for anything, you really gotta learn how to trust your gut and your instincts. Which also kind of relating to this, another piece of advice is stick with the people who make you feel good and not drained, because junior year is already draining enough. I feel like there's just certain kinds of people out there, and I'm sure if you're a human, you know what I'm talking about. There's just certain kinds of people and it's not even their own fault. It's just you don't mesh well together. It's draining to be friends with them. Certain relationships are just difficult, and so stick to the people who are the opposite of that, who make you feel good about yourself, because it's draining enough to be a junior. You don't need added stress on top of that. And I know I keep kind of saying the same thing over and over again, but just don't let burnout or too much work isolate you. It's really important to like get out there and make the most of your time in high school. I personally believe you will regret it, and I'm really glad that I made being social and like going out, not even just like being social, but just like going out with myself and taking time for myself, like I made that more of a priority this year, and I still did well. It's all about balance. Next piece of advice, talk to people about what you're going through and be there for others to vent to as well. This just helps with deepening those good relationships, and also get out there, reach out. If you're struggling academically or you're struggling and feeling really burnt out, talk to people about it, because you are not alone with it. It's so special to like be surrounded by people who are going through the same things as you, whether that has to do with boys or friends or like a certain class that's really difficult. Just get out there and really like connect with people, because the second you realize that you're not alone in what you're going through, it helps it a lot more. Next tip, spend time with your senior friends, because this is your last year that you're going to be with them, and so it's just really important to make those memories with them before they go away. And again, just lean on the people who support you, and you will get a gut feeling of who these people are, and it will really help you get through your junior year. And we are on to the last section of this video, which is the miscellaneous advice section. So first tip, I feel like I say this in all the high school advice videos, but take lots of pictures and videos. I just personally love going through pictures and videos from every year of high school, especially junior year when a lot of memorable stuff might happen. I just love documenting my life and in high school in general, and I feel like you won't ever regret taking pictures and videos, but you will regret not, so make sure to document everything. Another huge piece of advice that I cannot stress enough, get sleep. My mom would make me go to bed at a certain time every night, even if I had to study more, and it is so much more important than that extra hour of studying. I wouldn't even really fight her on it, because I started to see just how much better I functioned if I got at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep. I know you might be thinking, that's crazy, I have to stay up all night to study, but seriously, nothing is more important than sleep. It actually keeps you going and helps you avoid burnout. Not even that extra 20 minutes of studying is more important in my opinion. Sleep is so important, especially junior year, trust me on this. This is just kind of an overall piece of advice for the miscellaneous section, but be safe no matter what you're doing. Going back to the drinking and the drugs, try not to surround yourself with people who are doing that. Try not to give in to peer pressure. Also in terms of friends, don't let them put you in dangerous situations. Also in terms of if you're in a relationship this year, I feel like junior year might be the year where you might be in a more serious relationship or just having more to do with guys. Be safe, know your boundaries, know your values, and respect yourself enough to hold yourself and your value higher than what a guy might want from you, if you know what I mean. Also, don't wait to get help. This goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier, but reaching out and getting support from people, whether that's your family, friends, or a counselor, it's so important, because so much is going on junior year. Junior year depression can hit, burnout, changing relationships, there's so much going on, and so you don't want to kind of bury in deeper and deeper to yourself. Reach out and get help, because people will always be there for you. You just have to find them. Next tip, nourish yourself and take care of your body. Eat nourishing meals, have snacks to keep you going. Like, make sure that you're eating, make sure that you're drinking water, make sure that you're sleeping. It's really, really important, because I feel like it's so easy to let your physical health and also mental health just kind of slip away during such a stressful year of high school, but you've got to make time to eat well and also to exercise. It's so important, and it just keeps you from burning out. Kind of relating, but reward yourself frequently to keep going throughout the year. I feel like it's almost like every week of junior year was like,
okay, I got through another week of exams and tests and quizzes and thinking about my SAT in college.
It's so important to, you know, get ice cream with your friend at the end of the week, or go shopping. Like, I'm not saying buy tons of money and eat unhealthy, but like little splurges once in a while, it will keep you going. It'll make you happy. Another huge tip, journal to get out stress. I've been keeping a journal for so long now, and I feel like just making that time to journal, especially second semester of junior year, it really, really helped me to just write out what I was feeling and thinking and what was going on at school. My next tip is to consider having a counselor to help you individually with your mental health or with college or anything like that. I feel like a lot of the time the school counselors, they can be really busy and overwhelmed with a lot of students, so if you need help in terms of your mental health or in terms of college or anything like that, talk to your family about it if you think that that could be a good option for you, because it's just so good to talk about what you're going through and also to get help in terms of college if you're kind of unsure of what to do about that this year. And my last tip of this entire video is don't let your childhood leave you. It is so easy during junior year and just all of high school to feel so consumed by the academic stress and by all the peer pressure and just changing relationships with friends and guys and like wanting to get into relationships. It's so easy to like get in the whirlwind of all of that, so it's so important to preserve those like childish parts of yourself, because when you're 16 or 17 you're still a kid. Like, I'm still a kid, we're still kids, so it's important to not let that slip away from you and to make time for just some pure fun during your junior year of high school. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. My hugest goal in this video is to have helped you guys out and make you feel a little less stressed and more prepared to go into your junior year of high school, so I really hope that I accomplished that in this video. I feel like so much happens in high school. They really are such formative years, so you might feel like you go into junior year one person and come out a completely different person. Honestly, that's how I felt, because so much happened this year. It's actually insane how different I feel and just how much I learned, like even from a year ago when I made my sophomore year advice video. As I said at the beginning of this video, yes, it is the worst year of high school because so much is piled on, but it's not that bad if you know how to handle it. So I'm wishing you guys so much luck with your junior year of high school and to have an amazing summer before all of the stress hits. It's really important to relax before like such a hard year of high school too, so make sure to build in a lot of time for relaxation. And yeah, before you leave, please like this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below. I'm going to rock junior year for that little burst of confidence, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel for a lot more just like relatable teen content like this and for more advice videos. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it. You're all going to crush your junior year of high school, and I love you guys. Bye!